into a smoke till the road. No one could keep their eyes on me.
Hello everybody, my name is Storm5638 and welcome back to another Game Maker series tutorial. Today, in part 3, we're going to be learning how to make enemies for the player to shoot at. These enemies are going to be pretty basic. They're going to move in a fixed direction towards the player, much like in games like Galaga, and the player will get a chance to shoot at them. And then we'll make a lot of statements saying, for example, if the bullet collides with the enemy, we give the player a certain number of points. This tutorial will be split off into maybe a little bit of different parts as we do a lot of different things with the enemies. So first off, we want to make the sprite for our enemy. So we're going to create a sprite like always, and we're going to name it SPR_enemy. And we're going to edit the sprite, and we're going to make it 32 by 32, just like always, the standard size for our sprite in Game Maker. And then we're going to double click on image 0, and we're going to zoom in. And then we can make it however way you want it. What I'm going to do for this tutorial is I'm going to make it very similar to the player ship in a way, but instead of being filled with white, it's going to be filled with red. Does that look perfect? No, it's not perfect. I think it has to go like... No. I'm getting this really wrong today. And then... Actually... Maybe we can do something like that. Nope. There we go. And then we're going to paint it in red, just so we can distinguish it whether it's bad or not. And we'll check mark that, and then we'll center it just like always. And then in our objects, we're going to create a new object, and we're going to name this obj_enemy. And then we're going to assign it our enemy sprite. And then we're going to add an event, which will be the create event, for when the enemy is created. We will go ahead and make statements or declare our variables in the create event. So we're going to put 3 slashes right here, and we're going to say initialize variables. So when the enemy is created, we're going to initialize some variables within the create event with our code. And we're going to say enemy speed equals 4. Then we're going to say bullet speed equals about 3. For the bullet speed, this may not be until the next video. We don't know if we'll get there in time, but we are going to be using this enemy speed variable. Okay, so we're going to add our step event now, and then we're just going to execute our code just like always. And then actually what we'll do, instead of the step event, we'll say that when it's created, we'll go ahead and move in a fixed direction downwards at the speed of enemy speed. Okay? So once it's created, it will start moving at enemy speed downwards, and enemy speed equals 4. So let's just test this out really quick. And maybe put it right there. And then we'll go ahead and compile our code. And then once it compiles, we should be seeing an enemy going downwards at our player. So let's see if it works. It's just going to take a while to compile. Once that does, we'll be able to see our enemy. So now it moves, and we obviously shot at it, and it did nothing. So what we're going to do is that, well, first of all, we thought the enemy was going too fast, so I think we'll speed it down maybe 2 pixels. And then for our collision event, we're going to say collision with the bullet, and then we're going to say instance_destroy. Okay. And then once it collides with the bullets, it's going to destroy the enemy. So the enemy is going to no longer exist when it gets hit by a bullet. So it should just blank out, but later in this series we'll make a lot of other effects that we can do with the enemy of what it does. So if we hit it with a bullet, it just blanks out of existence. It's gone. But we still saw the bullet, and it doesn't really make it that realistic. So what we'll do is that we'll actually go into our enemy object again, and in the collision code right here where it says instance destroy, we're going to skip some lines, and then we're going to say with obj underscore bullets. And this is kind of like the same syntax as an if statement, so it's going to say with the bullet, we're going to destroy it. So we're going to say instance underscore destroy. Yeah, destroy. So now if we run it yet again, it will compile everything, and then what we should see is that instead of the bullet going on existing, it's actually going to destroy itself once it hits the enemy. And as we see, it does that. So right when it hits the enemy, the bullets disappear. But if you looked at it a little bit, it's not really a thing to overlook. But if you saw the bullet hit the enemy, it actually kind of not even hit it that much. It was like a little space between the enemy and the bullet. So we're just going to modify the hitbox for this enemy. Okay, and we're going to do it right here with collision checking. You can modify this however you want. I just like to do precise collision checking. So what it does is that it's going to create a very thin box around the enemy. And if an object collides with that box, it's sort of the hitbox for the enemy, and then it's going to run the necessary code. But you can change this by clicking Modify Mask, and then it's precise right here. And as you can see, the enemy is a little bit darkened. So that's when an object collides with that darkened box, it's going to run the necessary code in the enemy. Okay? But you can make it into like a rectangle, an ellipse. So if an object penetrates this circle right here in this ellipse, then it's going to run some code, whatever the collision code is. You can do a diamond even, but we're just going to stick on precise. So right when it hits the enemy, it's going to run the necessary code to destroy itself. It's just like a nice little tweak to our enemy hitboxes, just so it doesn't look that kind of bad in a way, but it looks more professional, even though we're making like a very basic game. So this actually concludes part 3 of the Game Maker series. Next tutorial, we are going to be working with point systems and the life system soon. So check out that later. I'll be making that over the course of a couple days. So if you like this video, leave a like. And if you want to see more from this Game Maker series, subscribe to this channel, and I will see you guys later.